Welcome to Lit Happens, Saskatchewan's showcase of the literary talent of the province. We're back in the Shaw studio today. It feels super to be here. And I'd like to welcome my guest, Jeff Rubin, to the show.
Hi, Wes.
Hi, Jeff. I am really looking forward to our chat today. You are on a book tour.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'll be speaking at the McNally Robinson bookstore and
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
other places.
Nice. It's always exciting when we get a traveling author on the show and we can coordinate that with your visits. So it's a
I've been
treat.
traveling all right.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'd like to talk about your tour, but first, I'd like to get just a little bit of a backstory. Tell us about yourself and your career and what led to you writing.
Well, for 20 years, I was the chief economist of CIBC World Markets.
Wow.
It was the investment arm of CIBC. And I left in 2009 to publish my first book, Why Your World's About to Get a Whole Lot Smaller. It won the National Business Book Award. It was published in 7 languages, 14 countries, runner-up for the UK Times, London Times, Goldman Sachs Business Book Award. And I didn't think I was leaving CIBC at the time, but
Yeah.
it's just the way things turned out. And then in 2012, I wrote my second book, The End of Growth. It was also a #1 bestseller here in Canada.
Great.
And now my third book, The Carbon Bubble, which just came out a couple weeks ago, and now I'm going around the country talking about it.
Nice. I always think it's interesting that sometimes writing takes people to places and they never thought they'd ever be.
That's very true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very true.
Yeah. So give us a rundown about the carbon bubble.
Okay, well,
yeah.
it's a bubble. I don't mean the type that you do with a wand and dishwashing detergent and, creating bubbles in your backyard that all of a sudden go poof. But there are bubbles in the economy, and just like the ones in the backyard, they're not built to last. In the last 15 years, I could think of 3 around the turn of the millennium. There was the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
Like one day, Nortel Networks was over a third of the TSX, and then a year later, it was 0. There's the subprime mortgage bubble. The bank I used to work for wrote down some $7 billion in these financial derivatives that were backed by the mortgage payments of unemployed homeowners.
Wow.
And today, the carbon bubble. Canada was at sort of the periphery of the other 2 bubbles, but Canada is at the epicenter of this because we have made probably the most vulnerable industry to the carbon bubble our engine of national economic growth. And I'm talking here about the oil sands in Alberta and the massive development of that. And what the carbon bubble is about is it's the notion that we can consume and emit as much fossil fuels as we wish to, when in fact the world scientific community for quite some time has been telling us that not only is there a limit, but we're rapidly approaching that limit, and we're soon going to have to hit the brakes big time on our combustion of fuels like coal and oil. So that's a very different world than the world that Imperial Oil, Cenovus, Canadian Natural Resources thinks that they live in. We're seeing that, in fact, demand's not going to be growing astronomically like they've implied, that, in fact, if we're going to be consuming less oil, we're probably going to see lower oil prices. And that's the kiss of death to one of the highest cost sources of oil in the world, which is the Alberta oil sands.
Wow. It's quite an interesting premise for the book. I'd be interested to hear what kind of feedback are you getting from readers?
Not positive from the Petroleum Club, where I spoke at a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But there is another aspect to this, which I think will be of relevance to some of your listeners.
Yeah.
I mean, climate change is going to denude the value of our hydrocarbon resources, and no question the oil sands, but it's going to make other resources much more valuable. Our most valuable resource is arable land and water. And while we won't be an energy superpower, the kind of climate changes that have already occurred and will continue to occur could make us very well the world's breadbasket.
Wow.
And if you think about how climate change is going to impact, and already is impacting, oil prices, and you think about how it's going to impact food prices, that's a very value-added transition to make because, not only is it going to extend growing seasons here, and they're already about 26 days longer, and open the door to growing crops that you couldn't grow before, like corn and soybean. But when you turn the thermostat up 3 degrees in Iowa, Illinois, and Kansas, you see what's already happening in California. You're going to see that it's going to become more and more valuable to be able to grow food because many of our traditional agricultural areas are simply not going to be able to do that.
Wow. Now we're already running out of time, and I could talk to you all day, but
I gotta go.
you're an interesting man. I can see you have a lot going on. I suspect you have more books that are going to come out of you.
Well,
in the
hopefully,
future.
I think my publisher wants to sell a few of these first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might have another one. I think
Yeah.
another one might just be like, what does our economy look like?
Yeah.
In a world of climate change, because I think we've just scratched the surface here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But certainly the biggest impact is breadbasket.
Yeah.
And that's a story that's Saskatchewan is going to be the center of.
Yes, I think your events around Saskatchewan are going to be very well attended and well received.
Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah. Now we're almost out of time, but I'd like to get out to viewers where around Canada can your books be found?
Okay, they can be found everywhere.
Awesome. All good bookstores
All
everywhere?
bookstores
Yes.
and Amazon.com and
Yep.
basically all bookstores.
Yeah. Ebooks?
Ebooks, it's available on ebook as well.
Okay.
The Carbon Bubble.
Awesome. Do you have a website?
Yep, Jeff Rubin, smallerworld.com.
Yes, and I'm sure your publisher has a website too.
Random House.
Nice. Random House.
They're a big public. I guess now Penguin Random House.
Right.
They got even bigger.
Yeah, but need we even say more? They're big.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because they're paying for this.
Nice. And if all else fails, like a lot of writers, you're probably somewhat active on social media.
Yeah. I do have a tweet occasionally
Yeah.
when I also have a blog in
Nice.
the Globe Mail, so
Yes.
So-
So you're widely accessible.
I'm really accessible.
Awesome. Good.
Okay.
Good. Well, I know we're out of time, but I just want to say it
Nice
was an
talking to you.
absolute treat to talk to you.
Take care.
We'll get you on again.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have today for Let Happens. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can see previous segments on Shaw TV or on my website, westfunk.ca, and you can connect with us online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So I'll see you next time on Let Happens.